Hi everyone, welcome back to the ApsaraChat mini series 4. Today we have Zhenhui, who will be sharing with us on secured DCDN and how it helps to accelerate and protect your online business. So without further ado, let's welcome Zhenhui. And then if you have any questions, you can either drop your question in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. And then at the end of the session, we will also have a short Q&A session to answer your queries. Over to you, Zhenhui.
Hey, Zhenhui, I think your mic is not on. Yep.
Thank you for reminding me, and sorry about the glitch. Okay, so let me start again. So can you see my PowerPoint slides?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so welcome to today's webinar. And my name is Zhenhui Shen. I'm a product manager from Alibaba Cloud Intelligence. So today I'm going to talk about a new offering called Secure DCDN. So this is my agenda for today. First, I will give you a product introduction. Then we talk about what business can benefit from Secure CDN. Afterwards, I will give a short product demo, and we will conclude the meeting by running a Q&A session. So first, CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. It is a cloud service specializing in speed up online transactions and web content delivery. To understand how CDN works, we have to know the structure of modern websites. So websites publish two kinds of content. There are static content like images and texts. They stay unchanged and every user gets the same copy. There are also dynamic content like your shopping cart, a personal account page, and online recommendations. They are highly personalized and vary from user to user. So to speed up a website with mixed content like these, we have to use different strategies to handle different content type. So DCDN is a product designed for this purpose. It stands for Dynamic Route for CDN. So both CDN and DCDN belong to our CDN family. And here is a brief distinction between these two products. First of all, at a high level, both CDN and DCDN, they are equally effective on delivering static web content. But DCDN takes the optimization further by doing great things for dynamic content delivery. So we will look at these two parts in sequence. First, static content delivery. If we look at the left-hand side diagram, so CDN builds a global network, right? We have end users, no matter where the end user is, we always have a close by edge node. So user request is routed to the edge node. And in case the content is cached locally, it can be returned to the user immediately, rather than sending the request to the remote origin. This is the secret behind which CDN is able to achieve the speed up. So because this is a static content, it can be replicated, it can be cached. So we can leverage cache to realize the acceleration. And in case one caching layer is not enough, we can always build multiple layers of caching to increase the in-network cache hit ratio. So the goal is to keep as many content as possible inside the CDN network and to eliminate the need of forwarding the request to the origin. This not only cuts down the response time, but also relieves the pressure of the origin. But when it comes to dynamic requests, it will be a different story. We call that dynamic requests represent personalized content. They cannot be guessed and they cannot be cached in the local server. So these requests have to be forwarded to the origin and to be processed there. So this calls for a different optimization where DCDN needs to optimize the routing of the request over the slow and unreliable internet. So how do we do that? We break down the long connection between user and the origin into 3 segments. On both ends, we have origin and user connected to the nearby CDN edge node. So this produces shortened connection. And due to the nature of TCP, when the distance is short, the throughput is increased. The middle leg is the CDN network itself. And this is the network under our control. So we can optimize the routing by maintaining a high throughput between every pair of CDN nodes. And also we run constant network probing to identify congested or unreliable links so that we can route packets around them. By combining these technologies together, DCDN is able to find an optimal path in real time, connecting the user and the origin. And this optimal path delivers high throughput and low latency. This is how DCDN is able to accelerate dynamic requests. So it's good to know that Alibaba Cloud gives you the needed performance. But is this sufficient? So the answer is no. As more and more businesses are moving online today, we see a rising trend in cyber attacks. And you likely heard about the catastrophic damages they can cause to your business. For example, DDoS attacks can take your service offline for hours or even days. So you lose your customer and your revenue during the downtime. And web application attacks, they target your databases, which store sensitive and valuable information. If your customer falls victim to the data breach, their trust in your business is immediately gone. So while facing those prevalent security threats, you probably are thinking about the following question. Well, CDN is sitting in front of my origin. Can the same CDN be used to block the threats off the edge so that they never get back to my origin? The answer is yes. Secure DCDN is Alibaba's core answer to the market's call. So we are fortifying the regular DCDN by adding comprehensive edge securities. First, at the network layer, we create a linkage between 2 cloud products. Oops, sorry. I'm working from home today and there's some noise from my neighbor. So we, at the network layer, we create a linkage between 2 products, that is CDN and anti-DDoS. So when under normal condition, user traffic is served by the CDN network. And in certain geographies where we see a rise of network attacks, we can use DNS CNAMing to route both clean and attack traffic to the nearby scrubbing centers. And attack traffic get filtered there, and only clean traffic are forwarded to CDN for further acceleration. So when user requests arrive at CDN node, a collection of security modules are in place to further inspect the request. So these modules include rate limiting, bot manager, access control, web application firewall, and also IP access control rules like geo-blocking and IP address blocking. Of course, we also allow you to enable HTTPS service for your domain so that you can encrypt the end-to-end data transmission. And we also shouldn't forget about DNS, because name resolution is the initial stage of a user request. If DNS service is down, then your user request cannot even get to the CDN network. So it is critical. And Alibaba Cloud does have authoritative DNS service, which can be added to our solution to let you achieve the full protection. So in summary, secure DCDN gives you the protection in the following 3 ways. Layered DDoS mitigation guarantees high availability of your service, even under heavy network attack. And the comprehensive edge securities can protect attacks above network router. And lastly, you can also add cloud CDN service to the solution to achieve full protection of your domain. So what business sectors can benefit from secure DCDN? Well, there are many of them, and we study 4 sectors in detail. So they are finance, fintech, e-commerce, and the gaming industry. So what these sectors have in common is they need complete solution. They not only care about the online performance, but they also want the security of their online business. So we will examine these needs separately. First, we look at the acceleration part. So for bankings and the fintech companies, their critical need of acceleration or performance-wise is they want to guarantee fast and reliable online transactions. And also, as banks are moving more business online, they are using mobile banking to replace local branches. So mobile banking stands for low-cost channel, which is critical to the sustained revenue growth. So therefore, banks want to ensure that users get optimal experience when they conduct transactions or talk to customer service through their mobile apps. That's why they need DCDN to accelerate all kinds of content delivery and dynamic requests. And e-commerce has a lot of images to store and deliver to the end user. This is how CDN can help. And also they often run seasonal sales and flash sales that often attract a huge crowd and cause immediate low spikes, which can easily overwhelm their origin. So e-commerce sites need CDN to absorb the traffic spike and to be resilient to the user demands. And also the online shopping experience is fully dynamic. Transactions or operations like product search, browsing product, get your personal recommendation, place an order, manage shopping carts, and make payment online. These are all typical examples of dynamic requests, which are highly personalized. They have to be processed by the origin, so only DCDN can help. And for the gaming industry, their needs are they have two major needs. One is they want predictable and fast file download. This not only includes pre-game client download, but also include in-game purchases. Next, they have multiple online real-time battle games where multiple players can be connected to the same central server and they exchange game data in real time. So these are the examples of dynamic requests, and only DCDN can help to speed those message exchanges. So this covers the acceleration needs. Next, we move on to the security part. So for the security part, I think e-commerce sites, they are mainly plagued by data scraping and fraudulent web orderings. So data scraping means that your competitors can run bots to crawl your website information. So they may steal your inventory information and use at their advantage to publish lower prices to lure your customers. And web fraudulent orderings, if you talk to airline representatives, that's their main headache, right? So bot traffic can take over user account and use your loyalty, redeem your loyalty mileage points to buy tickets, then they can resell them to the public. So all these activities, they can be defended if you engage DCDN bot manager services. And for gaming industry, players tend to leave a lot of valuable gadgets in their account. So these gadgets can be sold for profit. Therefore, gaming is also the hardest hit area for account takeovers. And similarly, they can turn to bot manager service to fend off those activities. And the finance and the fintech, because they deal with monetary transactions and they store a lot of sensitive information, like your personal profile, your salary information, and your credit history. So they most worry about data breach, and they rely on web application firewall to protect against the sensitive data. So in the end, as you can tell, that only DCDN, only secure DCDN can cater to the needs of these industries, because we are a single product to provide a one-stop solution to both accelerate and secure your web traffic online. So adding security capabilities to DCDN are results of deep integration with Alibaba Cloud's industry-leading technologies, notably two products. One is DDoS mitigation, the other is a web application firewall. So these two products have won recognition from the world's leading research institutions like Forrester and IDC. So for example, Forrester Wave named Alibaba Cloud a challenger for DDoS mitigation service and a contender for web application firewall. And we are the only cloud provider from APAC who received such recognition. And also, when looking at the China market alone, our whole suite of security capabilities is considered the best by IDC among all the public vendors. So we are happy to announce that Alibaba Cloud is running a sales promotion starting from the month of June, and a secure DCDN participates in that. You are encouraged to scan the barcode on this page to go to the website, and you can browse the offerings we give and take advantage of that. And we really like you to try this product and give us useful feedback. Okay, so this concludes my product introduction, and I will use the remaining time to give you a product demo. Okay, so for product demo, we first go to Alibaba Cloud account. We go to the console and search for the product named DCDN. So this way we land on the DCDN console. And we start our journey by adding a domain to DCDN. So click Add Domain button. The presented form asks you a minimal amount of information like domain name, acceleration region, and origin information, so that they can initiate the domain registration process. Afterwards, a skeleton domain is created, but it cannot do much because we haven't defined any DCDN functions yet. To configure the domain service, we have to go to the configuration page. And this page has organized DCDN functions into various groups. And the group names are quite self-explaining. And for example, we talk about static content acceleration and dynamic content acceleration. These are the core parts of DCDN service. For static content delivery, it is critical to defining your caching logic. So all the caching rules are managed under this group. And for the handling of dynamic requests, you can toggle the switch to enable dynamic acceleration and create rules to tell DCDN what resources are static, and the remaining will be treated by this service as dynamic requests. And when they are forwarded to the origin, they will follow the optimal path computed by DCDN. So there are also groups related to security services. So for example, we allow you to enable HTTPS service for your domain. Here you can manage your certificate and configure your TLS versions. We also have access controls to allow you block requests by client IP or by common HTTP header like user agent and referrer. We also give you the capability to assign URLs to give limited permission and a time to make user requests to controlled resources. And finally, all the security modules are added to the security settings group. And here we have launched WAF and the bot manager and bring them online. And each module has their own configuration page to receive user-defined behavior. So after the domain configuration is done, you now have a full functioning domain running on DCDN network. And it is time for you to release this domain to the public so that your end user traffic can be routed to DCDN network. So after service starts running, you want to review the service conditions of this domain. And DCDN publishes 3 kinds of reports. First, we have the usage report. The usage data include traffic, requests, hit rate, and HTTP code. So these metrics tells you how much traffic are passing through the DCDN network under this domain. And these metrics are largely related to the DCDN billing. And for usage report, we have 2 links. One is resource usage, the other is real-time monitoring. So the difference between these 2 links are as follows. So first, they differ in the granularity of data being processed, like how often we aggregate those data. The other is the latency in terms of how soon new data become available. And last is the range of time window which you can conduct the search. So in brevity, resource usage has a coarser granularity and also is slower to generate new data than real-time monitoring. However, it is able to keep the data much longer for as long as 3 months. And in contrast, real-time monitoring is only able to keep data for a week long. So usage data are useful because it helps you to correlate the usage to the billing you received from Alibaba Cloud. But it doesn't give you much business insights. To get some metrics which carry business meanings, you can view the operation reports under the log section. So operation reports let you create different tasks to compute various metrics which carry business significance. You can compute, page views and unique visitors. We may also give you URLs ranked by their popularity. You can also see the distribution of your end users across the geographies and also the carrier network they are in. So these metrics can help you to drive useful business intelligence. So the last group of report are security reports. So security modules choose to publish their reports under the security section, monitoring section. And each module, again, has their own page. And they may choose a different format, which is most suitable for the data they want to report. So in this example, our bot manager chooses to compute how many requests are flagged by a bot detection module over 5 minutes. And you can use those filters to easily filter the events you care about. And the WAF reports are slightly different because WAF reports are not published to the security monitoring section. Instead, WAF organized the reports under a separate space. So I will walk you through these reports in a top-down fashion. We first start with the overview page of WAF. So the overview page lets you choose a domain protected by WAF and select the time window. And then it will give you the basic usage data based on the traffic passing through WAF. So you can have request report, traffic report, and response code. And furthermore, we not only count the total number of requests processed by WAF, but we also break them down by WAF functions. And if you want to know the details of events flagged by a particular WAF function, we have to go to the next level report. So we descend to security reports. Security reports organizes all the data by WAF functions. And on this page, you are able to see the details of each flagged event. Click View Details. It gives you the main characteristics of these events, such as the request method, the address of the resource to be requested, and why it triggers the WAF rule and what's the action taken. And in case this information is not enough for you, you can always copy the request ID and view the raw log. In order to access the raw log, we go to the next level, which is the log entries page. The log entries page gives you a simple interface to search for particular logs you have interest in. And the searching query is quite straightforward. In this case, the domain names is already pre-typed for you. And I just enter the request ID I copied from the previous page. Adjust the time window and click search. And you will find that the matching record is returned to you immediately. And here they have the same request ID. And this is highlighted in red. And again, the detailed log gives you all the information we recorded on disk. And you can see the why the attack is happening and why WAF is blocking this request. Okay, so far, this gives you an idea of the reports you can get from DCDN console. But that's not the end. We also give you the capability to do real-time log analysis. Real-time logs are critical to customers buying security services because when your site or your application is under attack, you are under the pressure to find out the source of attack and their pattern so you can take appropriate actions. DCDN gives you the capability through a different cloud product called Log Service. So next, I will take you to the Log Service console and show you how to use that service to analyze CDN logs. So again, we log into Alibaba Cloud account and search for Log Service. And this leads us to the Log Service console. Log Service creates different stores to keep different logs generated by various cloud services. And in this example, we go into the log store used to receive CDN logs. We go to the log repository, adjust the time window to scope the amount of logs we want to do analysis. So a typical user session with log service is composed of 3 stages. First, we define what we want and do the log filtering. Next, we write SQL queries to analyze the obtained logs and derive useful metrics. And the last stage is to convert the metrics into readable charts to visualize the data and help us to digest the information. So I will walk you through examples. CDN logs are a collection of key value pairs. To do log filtering, it is quite intuitive. We can take any value we like. For example, I may take an end user IP and enter the search box. This returns us all the raw logs matching that IP. So they stand for the requests sent by that end user. Now, suppose I want to know how many requests succeeded and how many of them failed. We can do that by analyzing the HTTP code and count these codes based on their code value. So we can accomplish this by writing a SQL query. So we select HTTP code, count their occurrences, and group by the code value. So this returns us a table which gives us the separate codes and their respective counts. Well, Since this is an example, so the table is very concise and it is easy to read. But in reality, depending on the data you want to analyze, you may get gigantic data returned to you in a table. So these data will be very difficult to digest. In this case, data visualization becomes valuable. You likely notice that there are so many icons, chart icons displayed on toolbar here. So they stand for all the chart types supported by log service. And if you click an icon, you can convert the table, tabular data into the chart you like. After you settle down on a particular chart, you can save it to a dashboard so that you don't need to repeat the whole process again in the future. So let's go to the dashboard and see some charts I pre-created. So these charts are some examples which we use to illustrate how we can visualize various metrics derived from CDN logs. For example, if we look at this chart, it basically says, let's look at all the requests passing through a security module, say a web application firewall. And we know that for each request, the module may take a different action. We can either let the request go through, but log it, record it in the log, or we can simply block it, or we can send back a challenge page to tell whether this is a robot or this is a human. So this chart is a stacked line chart, which tells you how many requests are receiving a particular action by the WAF module. So here's another example. You can also drop pins on the map to tell the user what are the popular sources of end user traffic. So there are so many charts you can draw and so many formats you can use to help you visualize the data. I'm sure you can derive more interesting formats once you become familiar with the log service product. So I think that concludes my product demo. And thank you very much for your patience. So I think next we move on to the Q&A session. So back to you, Jeremy.
Does anyone has any question for Zhenhui? Zhenhui, are we allowed to share the PPT to the attendees who attended today's session?
I think originally I think this is mainly for a live session, and for sharing purpose, we probably need to customize some content. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think everyone is good with your presentation today.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. So if anyone has any questions for Zhenhui, do drop us a note. We will answer your query accordingly. So thank you, Zhenhui, for your time today on the presentation and sharing with us on the secured CDN. And our next ApsaraChat will be happening next month in August. To look out in TikTok announcement as well as our LinkedIn. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's session, and thank you, Zhenhui, once again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, everyone, for attending.